So, Irma, it's great to have you on LeaderPass podcast. I'm glad we could meet here at the conference, and I can't wait to talk about what you do and who you are and your background. So, tell us those things. Tell us who you are and what you do.
So I'm Irma Parone. I am a speaker, obviously, and an author. I wrote a couple books on problem solving and decision making, and a consultant. And I work on the people side of the business. So we help people in organizations make better decisions.
Wow. Okay.
And people think they do make good decisions, but when we start talking through things, you know, it's helpful.
And is that because they don't have a framework or a system for making those decisions? Or
Well, I think they don't respect the fact that I don't care what your title is. It doesn't matter what your boss says your title is. If you can't solve problems, you're not going to be a premier employee, right?
right?
So it's helping people look at the bigger picture. It's not just about me. When we grow up, we think, okay, I learned how to be independent. So now when I have to solve a problem, how can I win?
Mhm.
Well, what I do is help them see the bigger picture.
Okay.
Because if only I win and you lose, I'm probably going to lose in the end.
Yeah. So you help them rise above that, and
So we look at the people, we look at the process, we look at the purpose, and that brings us to the customer, the employee, and the bottom line. And if you're looking at all those things, you're probably going to make a better decision.
so are you equipping them on how to make those decisions, or?
Yeah, it's an 8-step framework.
Okay.
Yeah. So, we look at a lot of people don't even know what their problem, they're working on the wrong problem. So, for example, I have people who will call me and say, I'm hiring the wrong people. I, I hire these people and I think they're going to be great and loyal, and then in a week they're gone. And when I dig into it, yes, some of them hire the wrong people.
Okay.
In most cases, remember, if I get a job with you and my resume's out there,
Yeah.
then what's happening? Other people are still calling me.
Yeah.
Well, if you don't grab those people, so in most cases, we change their problem statement from how do I hire better people to how do I retain new hires
Oh, wow.
and get them to love these companies.
And you're doing that on the front end,
and we're,
like,
well, yes,
or as they hire them?
yes.
Okay.
So if you're working on the wrong problem, I've had customers call me back and say, my God, I've spent 2 years working on hiring issues. I fired recruiters. I put more money into payroll, which they didn't need to because they were already competitive. They spent all this money on marketing and nothing moved the needle until we figured out the right problem. So it all starts with that and then goes from there.
That's brilliant. Now, tell me how you got into this space. Has this always been a part of your work and your career?
Well, I was my 15 years before I started my company, I was a senior vice president for a security guard company. And before that, I was in nuclear security. But in my 15th year, my mother got sick. I moved her down from Pennsylvania. She had dementia. I moved her 2 miles from me, but I was traveling all the time. She was very confused. So I called my boss one day and said, I'll give you whatever notice you need, but I got to go.
Got to take care of her.
2 months later, I was unemployed. And I thought, I have to do something. I mean, I'm a girl that took 3 weeks off when I had a baby. I'm not used to not working.
Yeah.
So I wanted to do the piece of the business that I really loved. And that's really helping organizations and people raise the bar, be excellent at what they do,
Mhm.
problem solve to win bigger.
Wow.
And that's kind of how I got it.
So you're bringing basically what you did at the time, but did you dive in and study that and interact with the content and formulate it, or how did you do that? How did you come up with that?
I always did that. When I was before that, when I was in nuclear security, my boss then asked me to run labor relations. I said I would love to, but I don't know anything about labor relations. And he said, but you have a way of looking at all sides of an issue. And they sent me to Cornell. They paid for it. It was an executive program. It wasn't a degree program. But it's just something that I really like to do is help people. So instead of unions and companies fighting, it's unions and companies finding win-wins, finding ways to win. So that kind of started the problem-solving piece of it. And then when I went to the other side of security, it was kind of the same thing. It was in fact, when I left there, one of my peers said, you had such a good way of looking at the customer, the employee, when we talked about problems. And I thought, maybe I am kind of good.
Yeah, yeah.
Maybe, who knows? But then I did research, wrote a couple books,
Okay.
and went from there.
That's great. And now tell me what you do now. So do you actually consult for companies, or are you a speaker?
So I love speaking.
Okay.
I love speaking. That's like I've moved kind of from consulting into more speaking.
Okay.
But yes, then it ends up consulting.
Okay.
Right. So helping organizations really identify the people side of the business and the important, you could learn how to make a widget, but can you communicate with a client and make sure that you know what they need and make sure you're serving at the highest level? And I love it. I mean, it's just, my husband keeps asking me when I'm going to retire.
Yeah.
I said, I have 2 criteria. The first one is that I make a difference.
Yeah.
The second one is that I'm having a blast.
Yeah.
And a blast I'm having.
So far, you got
So
both
far,
of them. I
yeah.
love that.
Yeah.
That is wonderful. Well, I'm so glad to get to know you and hear what you're doing. Where do you see things heading? I mean, you're in your rhythm, it sounds like.
Well, now I've just taken over as the president for the Florida Speakers Association. So I'm shifting a little bit there to serve the members. And my vision is big for, I want a place where, whether they're a new speaker or a Hall of Famer, that they're in a place where ideas are born and careers are transformed and relationships last a lifetime. So I'm really excited about doing that. And it's a great board that we have and a great bunch of people. And just doing more speaking. I really love getting in front of a big crowd and making a difference, seeing people. You could tell when something clicks.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
You can tell when those little things make a huge difference. And that's where I'm going.
What would you say, just since you're on you're the president of the Speakers Bureau in Florida now, Speaker Association in Florida, what would you say to a person who's considering doing what you did? Think back to when you started and you have this skill set that everybody's saying, hey, you're great at this, Irma. Help us do this, help us do that.
Do you mean as far as speaking?
What would you tell? Yeah. How would you encourage them to say, is it something they should take a step because they're probably on the fence or fearful?
Right.
What's one piece of advice you would say?
Well, there's 2 things. One is about speaking in general, and the other one is about Florida Speakers Association. Florida Speakers Association, a chapter of NSA, is the most amazing thing I've ever done. It's brilliantly run. I mean, every meeting, we bring in these amazing speakers from all across the country. And at every one, I've learned something that has improved my speaking career.
Wow.
And as far as speaking, I started speaking years ago, and I didn't know what I was doing. And one of my salespeople, when I was a vice president, I'll never forget it. He closed his speech saying, well, that's it. And he was trying to sell to a community. And I thought, I don't know how to do this either, but I need to get some help. So I joined Toastmasters and ended up being the president for a local chapter. And it's so powerful, whether you're a chairman, NSA is more about the business of speaking, but speaking can change lives. And it certainly changed mine.
That's awesome. I love it. Well, I'm so glad once again that you're here. If people want to engage with you and bring you in to speak, where do you tell them to go find you? How do they connect with you?
Right. So I have a website and it's paronegroup.com, and that's spelled like par one if you're a golfer, okay. PARONEGROUP.com. And I'm on LinkedIn a lot.
Okay, great. So they can find you there.
Yes.
See what you do and then potentially have you come in.
Yeah.
That's great. Well, thanks again for being here, and hopefully we'll keep our relationship going, but you've got just such great experience helping people over the years. So I know it's meeting those 2 criteria.
2 criteria. Yeah.
Very good.
Thank you so much.
Yes.
Great.
Thank you for being here.